Hi, this is just a short video where I want to give a little introduction to the thinking and structure of these classes. I call it Better IELTS, but really these are Better IELTS speaking classes where we're focusing on the speaking part of the exam. This is a short introduction to it. So basically, we're going to have short daily classes. It's not a course where you start at the beginning and work your way through to the end. It's a class in the sense that each day there is a new short piece of material, and we can all work on it at the same time. So anybody doing this should start with today's material so that everybody's doing the same thing. And that has a lot of advantages because then I can do reviews where we cover the same thing that we've looked at during the week. I can also do live broadcasting, live classes so that people can ask questions. So everybody's looking at the same thing each day. And of course, you can look back at earlier things, but each day is self-contained. It's not like you have to have done the previous, start at day one and work your way through to wherever we happen to be, because we are talking about speaking, and speaking for the IELTS exam, but speaking in any situation is not like a cumulative climbing up a ladder. It's more like going around and picking flowers. Each flower is different, and we can learn one piece of language, then we can learn another, and so on. So everybody's working on the same thing at the same time. That's part of the reason why I think of it as a class, but also that it's more interactive, and that we also have the opportunity for live sessions as well. So my intention is to put these on different platforms so that it makes it easy for you to access it whatever you're doing on your phone or on a computer or wherever. So to make the classes easy to find and use. And again, as I said, everybody looking at the same thing on the same day. So there's a kind of communal shared activity as we would have in a physical classroom, or online courses, which I teach, which I have been teaching as well. So in my judgment, the key to doing better in the speaking exam is to learn. We're not trying to be perfect, we're trying to do better. And you need to learn some natural and accurate patterns. I'm trying to use the word like pattern or expression rather than sentence, although they often are sentences, because one of the problems people have in the exam is that they talk as though they are writing, and speaking is different from writing. So I'm trying to avoid using the writing thoughts of sentences, or even worse, paragraphs. But you need to learn some accurate, natural patterns. That's number one. But most importantly, that's useless unless you can produce them in the exam. So you have to learn the pattern and become comfortable with it, and then apply it to the questions that you get in the exam. And that's what we are working on here. If you do that, your result will be better, because the examiner is listening to you. The mark is just a very general overall mark. And so the examiner doesn't remember everything you've said. So you need to say some things which are very good to stand out in his or her memory. And that's the kind of thing that we're practicing doing. Accurate, natural, good English that you can apply in the exam, most importantly. So what do we do in these little classes? Well, first of all, the idea is that you do short, focused practice. So we will look at one expression or pattern in one class, and you can look at it, you can hear me say it, and this is where it's interactive. You listen to me, there's a gap, you say it again. Focus on rhythm, stress. So you have to be somewhere where you can speak. If you're just listening and not speaking, it definitely will not help you very much. Then, without looking, say it again. Have you remembered it? Can you produce it easily? Then we might substitute different words. For example, if I'm saying, for example, if it must have been about 6 months ago, then we might substitute different times. Well, I think it must have been about 10 years ago. I think it must have been about 3 hours ago. So you practice this in a drill pattern. Drill means substituting and saying it. And the reason why it's very important to do this, and the reason why this method works, is because it has to become almost automatic with you, or else in the exam, when you're focused on understanding the question, answering the question, thinking about the content of your answer, you will never be able to produce the good structures and patterns that you can do, but you have not become comfortable enough with them to be able to adapt them and use them. And then when you have all of this comfortably in your head, you then think about how can you use this in different questions, because language is very, very flexible. You can apply something to many different situations, and that's what you need to do in the exam. So just one expression. If you do this every day, then you will build up an excellent repertoire of language very quickly. So the basic format will be of the classes. So every Monday to Friday, there'll be one of these expressions that we'll work on. So that's 5 in a week. Then on the Saturday, we'll have a review of them. Of course, you can go back and look at them all, previous ones at any time. But if you miss a couple of days, don't worry, because each day is self-contained. Start with today. And then if you want to, you can look back and review. Each week there'll be reviews. Sometimes my plan is to be able to do this live as well in the future, or at some times. And then on the Sunday, there will be one where I give you some general advice based on my teaching and examining experience. So that's the kind of format. If you do this, your score will improve. That I can promise you, but you have to commit to doing the little bits of practice, short but focused, and speaking, not thinking about it, saying it. That's the key to success. Being able to learn some things and apply them in the exam situation. That's the goal. It's no good for you to know it, but not use it. So that's the idea behind this, and I hope you find it useful.